Hello everyone, and welcome back to our YouTube channel, Mazz Reporter. Here's a quick roundup of today's top trending news for February 5th, 2026, as the day unfolds across time zones on Mazz Reporter.
Top trending news from United Kingdom today. The British government has pledged that 3/4 of cancer patients in England will survive the disease by 2035. The Bank of England, BOE, is widely expected to hold interest rates at 3.75% at its meeting today, February 2026. Following a 0.25 percentage point cut in December 2025, policymakers are currently navigating a balancing act between cooling inflation and supporting economic growth. GSK has announced restructuring that will eliminate several hundred R&D roles in the UK and US, even as overall investment in innovation grows. Britain's largest rail operator has urged travelers to delay journeys, as significant delays continue across Southern, Thameslink, and Gatwick Express routes following a train derailment in Selhurst. Resident doctors in England have voted to renew their mandate for industrial action for a further 6 months, extending the potential for more strikes through the year. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has faced a major political crisis, resulting in a significant U-turn as MPs backed a plan to release files related to Peter Mandelson's appointment as U.S. ambassador. Reports suggest Mandelson is under police investigation for alleged misconduct in public office. A trial is underway in the UK for an alleged hitman for hire, accused of planning attacks on Pakistani dissidents living in Britain. Manchester City defeated Newcastle to secure a place in the EFL Cup final against Arsenal. Top trending news from Europe today. On the night of 2 to 3 February, Russia launched approximately 450 drones and 71 missiles, many being difficult to intercept ballistic missiles. The strikes targeted thermal power plants and distribution networks across Kyiv, Kharkiv, Odessa, and Vinnytsia. The last major nuclear arms control agreement between the United States and Russia, known as New START, has officially expired. This marks a dramatic moment in global security and raises serious questions about the future of nuclear arms control and the risk of a new nuclear arms race. The European Union has finalized a $90.106 billion loan package for Ukraine to cover its 2026-2027 financial and military needs as the conflict enters its 5th year. Former Italian PM Mario Draghi warned that the traditional global order is dead and urged Europe to strengthen unity, strategic autonomy, and competitiveness amid US-China tensions. This includes debate on defense, supply chains, and transatlantic relations. At least 15 migrants died after their boat collided with a Greek Coast Guard vessel. An investigation is underway as Greek authorities blame smugglers for the incident. Spain has announced plans to ban social media for under-16s. Spain Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez said that platforms should bring in strong age checks and that children should be protected from harmful online content. The 2026 Winter Games have officially begun in Milano Cortina, with early curling matches starting the competition. However, the event is already mired in political tension, as Italy reports foiling Russian cyber attacks aimed at the Games. Top trending news from Americas today. The Trump administration announced it would withdraw 700 federal immigration agents from Minnesota on February 4, 2026. Leaving approximately 2,000 agents remaining. This decision was attributed to cooperation from local officials and a shift toward taking immigrants into custody within jails, rather than through street arrests. 1 month after the capture of Nicolas Maduro, the U.S. State Department has sent a team to Caracas for the first time. While the interim government of Venezuela has begun releasing political prisoners, public skepticism remains high regarding the pace of reform. On 5 February 2026, the Kremlin stated that India is free to buy oil from any country. This response followed claims by U.S. President Donald Trump that Prime Minister Narendra Modi agreed to halt Russian oil imports as part of a new trade deal. The U.S. and Iran have agreed to hold talks in Oman this Friday. Disagreements persist over the agenda, with Washington pushing to include Tehran's missile arsenal, while Iran seeks to focus solely on its nuclear program. President Trump issued new tariff threats targeting Canada and Mexico as part of ongoing trade disputes, a major story affecting markets and diplomatic relations in North America. Laura Fernandez won the presidency in Costa Rica with a strong law and order platform. Her victory is seen as part of a broader rightward political shift across Latin America, with implications for U.S. cooperation on crime and immigration. U.S. President Trump hosted Colombian President Gustavo Petro in Washington amidst tensions over drug trafficking, trade, and migration policy. The meeting could shape diplomatic relations ahead of Colombia's upcoming elections. Ryan Routh, convicted of the 2024 attempt on President Trump's life at a Florida golf course, was sentenced yesterday to life in prison. In one of the largest newsroom purges in U.S. history, the Washington Post has laid off over 300 staff, roughly one-third of its editorial workforce, including its entire dedicated sports department. Following the 2026 Grammy Awards, several artists, led by Bad Bunny, used their wins to protest federal immigration enforcement, ICE, tactics. The Pan American Health Organization warned of a surge in measles cases across multiple countries, including Mexico, the U.S., and Canada, urging stronger vaccination efforts as outbreaks continue. Cases in early 2026 are sharply higher than last year's levels. Top trending news from South Asia today. Pakistan has deployed helicopters and drones to take control of a town in the mineral-rich western province of Balochistan from rebels amid ongoing fighting that has left dozens of security officials and civilians dead. Pakistan formally requested that the UN Security Council designate the Balochistan Liberation Army, BLA, and its Majid Brigade as global terrorist entities. This appeal follows a surge in violence in Balochistan that claimed dozens of lives, with Pakistan alleging that these groups operate from sanctuaries in Afghanistan using abandoned NATO weaponry. A political dispute erupted in India's parliament over General M.M. Naravane's unpublished memoir, 4 Stars of Destiny, which reportedly claims the Prime Minister's office failed to give clear military directives during the 2020 India-China border standoff. Opposition leader Rahul Gandhi was blocked from citing the book in Parliament, sparking tensions over transparency and accountability. India is scheduled to visit Malaysia on 7 to 8 February 2026 to deepen strategic and economic ties under the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Framework. Ahead of the 12 February Bangladesh elections, the interim government has banned the Awami League. Former PM Sheikh Hasina, currently in exile in India, received a 10-year corruption sentence on 2 February, adding to her previous 26-year total, and a death sentence for 2024 uprising crackdowns. Concerns continue regarding the health of imprisoned former Prime Minister Imran Khan after he was rushed to the hospital for an eye procedure. His family continues to demand transparency regarding his condition and argued that all cases are politically motivated to keep their brother out of the public sphere. while the government maintains they are legitimate legal proceedings. President Shavkat Mirziyoyev of Uzbekistan arrived in Islamabad on 5th February 2026 for a 2-day state visit to Pakistan. This is his second state visit to Pakistan, focused on trade, energy, and regional connectivity. Pakistan and Kazakhstan officially elevated their relationship to a strategic partnership during the first state visit by a Kazakh president in 23 years. To achieve a target of $1 billion in bilateral trade within 1 year, the two nations signed 37 Memoranda of Understanding, MOUs, covering diverse sectors such as petroleum, agriculture, and IT. Pakistan is observing Kashmir Solidarity Day today, 5th February 2026, as a nationwide public holiday to reaffirm its support for the Kashmiri people's right to self-determination. Pakistan Prime Minister has again reaffirmed Pakistan's boycott of the T20 World Cup match against India in Colombo. Pakistan stands with Bangladesh, which was replaced by Scotland after refusing to play in India. While Pakistan will play its other group matches, the ICC has warned of long-term implications, including a USD $35 million revenue loss and legal action from broadcasters. Nepal has begun a massive security rollout as it approaches the general election scheduled for 5 March 2026. This election follows a period of intense political unrest, including the Gen Z protests in September 2025 that led to the resignation of Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli. Top trending news from Western Pacific region today. A major maritime industry showcase, Asia Pacific Maritime 2026, is taking place in Singapore, highlighting sustainable shipping tech, maritime innovation, and sector growth, blending industry, trade, and tourism interests. Despite a global budget crisis, the United Nations head in the Pacific confirmed that operations across 15 regional countries remain unaffected. Tongan Prime Minister Lord Whakafanua confirmed that diplomatic relations with the United States remain strong, despite the implementation of new U.S. visa bond requirements and travel restrictions. After a week-long delay due to severe weather, Tokelauans are heading to the polls today, by February 2026. Rough seas previously prevented the ferry from delivering ballot boxes to the 3 atolls, a logistical challenge that has reignited calls for an airstrip as the territory marks 100 years under New Zealand administration. New Zealand authorities have issued a travel warning as travelers return from the Cook Islands carrying the dengue virus. Large parts of the Pacific are currently experiencing record-breaking sea surface temperatures, which experts warn could severely impact marine ecosystems. The Pacific region is managing a significant dengue fever outbreak that began in mid-2025, with major activity in the Cook Islands, over 500 cases, and Samoa, nearly 17,000 cases, alongside active transmission in American Samoa, Tuvalu, and New Caledonia. Top trending news from Eastern Mediterranean region today. Israeli strikes have killed at least 20 people in Gaza today. These attacks come as the Rafah border crossing saw slow movement following its recent reopening, and reports surfaced of Palestinian militia conducting checks on returning civilians. In Syria, government security forces have entered the Kurdish-controlled city of Qamishli as part of a U.S.-backed deal to return Kurdish regions to central government control. A magnitude 3.7 earthquake was recorded today near Korçi, Albania, adding to regional seismic concerns after over 1,000 tremors were recently reported on Santorini. The World Health Organization, WHO, released a rapid risk assessment for Middle East respiratory syndrome coronavirus, MERS-CoV, in the eastern Mediterranean region, highlighting ongoing health risks and the need for vigilance in surveillance and response systems across countries in the region. Top trending news stories from the African region today. Global oil majors like Chevron, Total Energies, and Shell are snapping up offshore blocks in West and Southern Africa, with Angola and Namibia emerging as particularly significant exploration targets. This surge in investment highlights rising international interest in Africa's hydrocarbon prospects. The United States has approved a short extension of the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA, until the end of 2026, preserving duty-free access to the U.S. market for many African exports and easing concerns over trade disruption after the pact's recent expiration. In early February 2026, armed militants, suspected to be from Boko Haram or the Lakurawa Group, massacred nearly 200 people in Nigeria's Kwara and Katsina states, burning homes and shops to the ground. In response to the escalating violence, the U.S. Africa Command, AFRICOM, has deployed a small team of military officers to provide intelligence support and enhance counter-terrorism collaboration with Nigerian forces. Morocco has evacuated over 108,000 residents, mostly from Larache, as the Wed El Makazine Dam exceeds 140% capacity, while southern Africa faces a humanitarian crisis with over 723,000 affected in Mozambique alone. Driven by Storm Leonardo in the north and La Niña in the south, these floods have prompted a UNICEF emergency appeal and a national state of disaster in South Africa. The Sudanese army reportedly broke a long-standing siege on the famine-stricken city of Kadugli. Niger's military government announced plans to initiate legal proceedings against the French nuclear fuel group, Orano, for alleged environmental crimes and mass crimes related to its uranium mining operations.
Thank you for tuning in to Mazz Reporter YouTube channel. If you found this February 5th, 2026 breakdown insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with others who want to stay informed. We'll keep bringing you interesting and insightful updates on the stories that are shaping our world.